Hello everybody, welcome to the Medyo Serious Talk Show with Red Oliero. I am joined, very excited to have Mr. Ronald Llamas as our guest. Ang binansagan na political pundit. Research ko pa kung paano i-pronounce yun. Hopefully I remembered it right.
Dito ko lang narinig yun.
Ganun ba? Finidsahan ng tatay ko yun. Sabi yun daw itawag sa'yo.
Sila Edlingaw yun.
My dad is a fan and parati kang pinapanood with your political analysis, so I'm very excited to have you here. Anong general off the bat na question ko sa inyo is bakit tayo may tendency to keep these people in power?
Well, one of the few positive elements sana ng ating political system ay yung anti-dynasty provision ng ating konstitusyon. At malinaw, kaya nilagay yan dyan, dahil yung bane ng ating politika, at least since the 70s, ay yung mga dynasties na siguro nung panahon ng Commonwealth or immediately after World War II, bagamat dominated pa rin ng mga families yung ating political system, medyo nahihiya naman sila na ilantad. So usually yan, may naglalagay ng isa sa politika, isa dalawa, yung isa naglalagay sa military, yung isa naglalagay sa simbahan. So yung mga elites natin, ilahati naman, ini-spread out, no? Pero nung 70s ay lalo na after martial law or during martial law ay nagkaroon ng parang expansion itong mga dynasties na ito. At nahirapan ng tanggalin since then. Kaya in-institutionalize sana sa ating konstitusyon. Kaso mukhang nagkamali ng kaunti yung mga framers ng 87 Constitution. Hindi pa nila tinapos doon sa konstitusyon yung talagang implementation ng anti-dynasty. Iniwan nila sa Congress yung paggawa ng implementing rules. No? Kaya syempre, yung magagawa ng implementing rules, yung mga dynasties din. Sabi nga ni Cardinal Sin nun, na itaboy natin si Alibaba, pero yung 40 thieves na iwan. So yung 40 thieves, hindi naman yung babaguhin yung ating rules of the game. No? Kaya since then, nag-deteriorate. At pinakamahalaga, itong mga dynasties na ito ay hindi na lang kinontrol yung politika, especially on the local level, kung hindi pati yung economy. Dahil sila yung may-ari ng mga kartel, sila may hawak ng mga milling, sila may hawak ng hoarding, sila may hawak ng smuggling. So, naging symbiotic yung relasyon nila sa isa't isa. Yung control ng economy, especially agriculture, eventually pumasok sila sa regulatory capture ng ating mga social services at saka industries. At eventually ay yung pag-merge ng dalawa dictates not only local politics kundi national politics. Kaya naging backward yung ating system more than ever. At from the 1950s at saka 1960s, na number 2 tayo sa Japan, ngayon ay number 7 na tayo. Kung bibilangin mo Japan. Dahil nalampasan na tayo ng Vietnam 2 years ago, di ba? At may possibility na baka lampasan din tayo ng Cambodia in the next 3 years.
Grabe naman. It's such a, parang long-running na problem, and I feel like by now, parang we should have addressed it. Pero for some reason, parang may penchant lang talaga tayo. I mean, like, as Filipino people, as voters, we tend to, I think, vote familiar people. Tama ba? Parang ganun?
Yes.
I'm being sugar-coaty.
Basically. Basically, dahil parang naging vicious cycle yan Because the state, our institutions, cannot provide what they should provide. So, ang nagpo-provide niyan ay itong mga dynasties, warlords, syndicates. Yung traditional tinatawag natin kasal, binyag, libing. Ayuda. Ang tawag natin ngayon ay ayuda. So, dahil sa weaknesses ng ating gobyerno institutions, sila yung nagpo-provide niyan. At dahil sila nagpo-provide, sila iboboto natin. So, nagiging vicious cycle without most Filipinos understanding na yung binibigay sa kanila ay galing din sa kanila. These are taxpayers' money. So, pero na-modernize yung ganyang klaseng dependency, hindi na-modernize yung political system. So, yung ating modernity is more modernity ng ating mga backward system rather than yung modernizing elements ng ating sistema. Pero isa kasing problema natin sa mga developed countries, wala rin tayong modernizing elites. A section of the elites na isa-sacrifice part of their earnings para ma-develop yung ating economy at saka political system. For lack of a better term, the social pacts of Europe.
Okay.
The social pacts of North America.
Yeah.
Na hindi pwedeng lagi na lang may vicious cycle eh. Kailangan at a certain point i-modernize yung political at saka economic system, which means the elites have to give something back.
Yes.
Kaya hanggang ngayon, ang ating elites are carpetbaggers. Quick money. At dependency. Yung nangyayari.
I mean, I think they're benefiting from status quo, so I guess parang mahirap nang to expect a long-term vision from them siguro.
Well, yes. At saka dahil nga very competitive yung ating economic system, so yung modernizer, ang at least yung tingin ay may konting element ng modernity, ay nakita nila hindi sila mag-advance o hindi sila kikita sa modernity.
Tama.
So sumasabay sila doon sa mga pre-modern elements ng ating political system. So at this point, meron kang substantially pre-modern, ibig sabihin yung lumang warlordism, dynasties, etc. At the same time, yung post-modernity ng populism at saka social media na nawe-weaponize ng pre-modern at saka yung post-modern populist. So, lalong naging vicious yung cycle. Kaya kahit pang malaki ng ating presidente that we are the fastest growing economy in the region, yung inamin din niya na hindi nag-trickle down. Like last Sona. Very honest naman siya na inamin niya. Pero, ang tanong, anong gagawin mo?
No? yun nga I was gonna let's jump to like fantasy solutions na to kasi very tawag doon, it's very hard to say or it's very hard to believe na kayang gawan ng solusyon right away, no? So what are like immediate things that we can do to kind of like curb this?
Siguro ay kailangan nating i-build up ng husto itong the few modern reform-oriented leaders natin.
Okay.
No? Build up natin ng husto yan. At imbis na ma-weaponize yung social media ng recidivists at saka populist elements, sana yung mga reform-oriented at saka progressive ay matutunan yung tricks of the trade.
Tama.
Sila naman yung makapag-modernize niya. No? In the past, nung pumasok yung modern social media natin, ay merong mataas na hopefulness na ito ay makakatulong i-democratize yung ating political system. Dahil ngayon, yung mga tao ay hindi lamang receptacle ng fake news, hindi lamang receptacle ng disinformation. Pwede na silang actively mag-participate to shape the narrative. Diba? Everybody can be a newscaster. Anybody can be a broadcaster. Anybody can be, ano tawag mo? Pandit.
Pandit, influencer.
Diba? Pero ang problema nga ay medyo hindi rin masyadong na-democratize siya. Instead of creating an army of Davids, dominant pa rin yung mga pre-modern Goliaths. No? So yun yung pero tingin ko it's not too late. No? Nandiyan pa rin. Pero ayun lang halimbawa, the Vico Sotos of this world, the Benji Magalongs of this world, no? The Laila de Limas of this world, the Risa Hontiveros of this world. Sana matulungan natin. At sana they will be inspiring enough to create a new army of similar reform-oriented or progressive leaders sa baba. No?
It doesn't take one, no?
Yes.
Kasi in the previous election, sabihin natin, okay, ang kandidato ko si Lenny, sabihin natin. Kung nanalo si Lenny and let's say nasamahan si Senator Risa ng iba pang kasama niya na sa state niya na mas progressive and mas feeling ko like 5 people is not, I don't think it's still an uphill battle, no?
Yes and no dahil in an age of pandemics, pwede mong gawing pandemic ang reform. Halimbawa, for lack of a better example, no? Miriam almost won in 92. Halos overnight. Walang partido, walang makinarya, walang resources. Diba? pwede kang may mga criticism kay Miriam afterwards.
Yeah.
Pero at that time, no, she was a disruptor.
Yeah.
And almost overnight, muntik siya manalo. Sabi nga ng iba, nanalo. No? Fast forward, meron kang isang dating mayor, dating senador, dating vice president, walang partido.
Yeah.
No, walang makinarya. Pero tinalo yung may partido, no? Represented by FBR and De Venecia.
Yeah.
No? And won. Ibang usapin pa kung ano yung kanyang substance. Ibang usapin pa kung ano nangyari afterwards.
Yeah.
But practically he was also a disruptor.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
He was also a disruptor. No? Fast forward kay Pinoy.
Yeah.
Pinoy was never considered for anything higher than the Senate.
Yeah.
Pero dahil namatay yung kanyang mother, naging disruptor siya. At dahil sa kanyang narrative, kung walang corrupt, walang mahirap, nag-converge sa kanya ang mga reform-oriented modern elements na hindi ganun karami at nanalo siya against the richest Filipino at that time, no? Villar, no? Etc. So, ibig sabihin, pwede. At saka fast forward, no? You may disagree with everything he stands for. Pero si Digong, wala rin partido.
Exactly.
PDP laban, isa lang ang miyembro niya na kongresista. Walang makinarya, walang resources, pero na-capture niya, kahit pambubudol, na-capture niya yung imagination ng mga tao. Ibig sabihin, it can be done. No? Can a Bico do that? No? Can a Magalong do that? Can a Risa Hontiveros do that? No? So, tingin ko ay the possibility is there. No? Of course, maraming trabaho 'yan. No? Pero you can break the mold. No? You can break the mold. Perhaps if we are inspired enough, if we are organized enough, more than yung mga binanggit ko, it can be done.
Oo nga, nakita na before. And more than just winning the position but also kind of like winning over with the concept that your platform stands on, no? Parang ganun yung nangyari kasi when sabihin natin si Digong when President Duterte won, it was very parang talaga ito na bakal na kamay, kailangan natin ng discipline, ganyan-ganyang klase. Everybody was so pro or until now very positive pa rin ang war on drugs, 'di ba? So we could say na parang if we win something with the concept of i-reform natin ng gobyerno in such a progressive way, the concept can,
we need the right mix.
Yes.
The balance between substance and form.
Okay.
Tinuro yata sa Arneo yan. Minsan kasi
Lasal.
Lasal ka ba? Sorry. Minsan nagsisitin ako noon kay Father Ferriol sa Ateneo. Magaling, no? So, it's about the balance between substance and form. Minsan masyado tayong focus sa substance. Platforms, ideology, visions, principles, which is very important. But this is a battle of brands. Ano yung brand na kakatawan sa modernity, kakatawan sa reform, kakatawan sa progressive ethos, no? For lack of a better term, ano yung ipapatulpo mo? Ano yung ipapatulpo mo? Dahil kung hindi mangyayari yan, 2 brand ang maglalabanan, or perhaps 3, sa 2028. The Duterte brand and the Tulpo brand. No? So, anong ating magiging balance, no? Between substance and form? Kung sino makakagawa niyan, no? At merong leader na kakatawan niyan, malaki yung chance. It's still uphill.
Tama.
Pero sanay naman tayo sa uphill.
Parati naman uphill. Ano siya, no? Medyo wild yung political climate ngayon, and I think it hasn't been felt as much as the last presidential elections. I don't think I've known so many people that are very politically aware and active nung time na yun, or parang they were really rallying to whatever cause that they were supporting.
Yes.
Nag-aaway sila sa families being torn apart by their Viber groups and everything. Do you think this is a positive pace or a positive kind of how do you say it? Di ko alam, climate or something?
Yes, dahil ang tingin ko, dahil yung Uniteam na walang substance, no, ay napatunayan na Pyrrhic victory. Pyrrhic dahil immediately after the elections, nag-unravel ka agad. No? At yung glorious...
Wala pang isang taon.
Diba? At yung glorious defeat naman nung Pink, no, ay kung na-consolidate, na-harness, it could have been, by now, the major political actor.
That's true.
Dahil, ngayon lang ako sabi ko nga kay Randy David, nung sumama ako doon sa Pasay Rally. Nung sumama ako doon sa Pasig Rally, Pasig Rally, 700,000. Pasay Rally, 800,000, 900,000. Yung Makati Rally, 1.2 million.
Oh yeah, grabe.
At lahat ito ay volunteers.
Yes.
Walang hakot. Wala kang makikitang isang hakot.
Wala.
Doon sa rally na yun. At kanya-kanyang costumes, kanya-kanyang
kanya-kanyang sayawan,
placards, kanya-kanyang clusters ng mga parties. No? Yung, sabi ko nga kay Randy David, this is like EDSA na hyper.
Yeah.
No? Mas hyper ito kaysa EDSA. No?
It's like multi-event EDSA.
Yes.
It's happening all over the Philippines.
Imagine if you could harness that at na-predict mo yung unraveling ng unity, which is parang nga sa akin, a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah.
No? Ikaw yung major political actor ngayon.
Tama.
Baka karamihan ng kandidato mo sa Senate ay masisweep. No? More than even the administration, kahit napakalakas ng administration during the midterm. Pero sayang, dahil na-PTSD yata yung mga pink, yung iba nag-uwian na, no? At yung leaders ay nagbakasyon na, no? At sayang.
Tumigil.
Hindi na-harness at saka hindi na-consolidate. Pero imagine mo yung quality, imagine mo yung intensity of that 15 to 16 million votes.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands of mobilizable force.
Yes.
Knocking on doors.
Yes.
No? If you could have harnessed that, iba ngayon.
Totoo.
Especially with the unraveling of the unity.
Exactly. And we're coming up with another sa midterms, no, national election natin next year. We could have harnessed that power to
Exactly.
Parang right now sa partido na yon, pseudo partido na yon ngayon, ang parang kumakandidato lang doon sa panig na yon, parang 3 lang, di ba? Parang ganoon.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Dalawa na nga eh.
Dalawa na. Tama.
Kiko Bam na lang, hindi Checky Bam na.
Parang parang hindi ko alam because I was part of it. I was there with the very first rally sa Naga. Ewan ko kung paano umabot sa akin ang alok maging host. Baka maraming tumanggi nung una. At nandun ako sa pang 37 list or pang 50. Pumayag ako. And I thought that was gonna be like, swerte ako kasi ito na yung pinakamalaki because hometown to eh. Sabi ko, wala. Oh my God, we had like what?
Tiga saan ka ba?
Manila lang ako. Okay. My mother's side, they're from Bacolod but we're not very close. No? So, when we went to Naga, I thought that was gonna be the biggest rally. So I was like, I'm so blessed kasi dito na ako. We have like 8,000, 9,000 people. Gano'n na. Little did I know na lalaki pala ng ganong klase. And when you look back, it's such a nice feeling na nagkaroon ng ganon. Pero yun yung masakit eh. After that, nothing really came to fruition after that. I mean, syempre, apart from nagkaroon ng foundation and everything.
Kung after ng election, nagkaroon ng nationwide Thanksgiving and listening tour to harness that base.
Yeah,
no? And transfer leadership from Lenny to Risa.
Yes.
No? At all the others na papalit.
Yes.
No? Dahil nagdesisyon si Lenny na magnanaga siya.
Yeah.
So, it could have been different by now.
Yeah. No? Parang ngayon, naghahabol pa eh.
Ngayon ay bumabalik ka. No? At yung kandidato mo ay at most 2.
Yeah.
No? So talagang balik ka sa salt mines. No?
And do you think sa climate ngayon, trajectory-wise, pagdating sa next presidential election, do you think there's still space for, I don't know what to call the pinks eh, ngayon? Liberal ba? Ano bang tawag? Di ko alam eh. Do you think there's space for that kind of...
Well, ang isang element na nung last election, na very dominant, ay medyo late nagpasya si Lenny.
Yeah.
She practically decided on the eve of the filing of candidacy.
Yes.
So the runway was too short.
Yeah.
Ngayon, you have 3.5 years.
Okay.
So you have a longer runway.
Yes.
No? So people like you can brainstorm much earlier.
Tama.
Ano ang political narrative?
Yeah.
What is the brand? No? Who will be involved in this campaign? So, meron kang 3.5 years. Imagine, no, noong 2021, October, that's when Lenny decided. Dahil meron pa nga silang effort na magkaroon ng unity. Di ba? Kaya
Hindi pa nga sila decided sa kulay nila, no? Nag-announce siya.
exactly. So ngayon, nangyari yan. Buti at least si Bam nagsusuot na ng pink ngayon. Before, white. So,
Oo.
so yun yung medyo positive ngayon. You have a longer runway. You have lessons from the past. Hopefully, a lot of negative lessons para maiwasan mo. No? And perhaps we can learn the terrain much better than last election. No?
If we're talking about, tali ko lang sa initial topic at the dynasties, no? The next presidential elections, we know na parang Duterte camp will be running, I think.
Yes.
Are we sure kung sino ba? Or wala pa namang sinasabi kung sino?
Well, kung hindi may impeach si Sara, it will be her.
Okay.
No?
And then, another political dynasty, who do you think the Marcoses are in play with something? Baka si Martin Romualdez.
Of course, Marcoses, gusto nila si Martin. Pero mababa sa ratings. So,
hindi pa masyadong visible.
Kung hindi siya tataas by 2027, baka maging kingmaker sila. Look for a winnable candidate na susuportahan nila. And for now, in the horizon, I see Tulfo. Or one of the Tulfos.
Yes.
Yun yung
Because we're expecting 3 of them to be in the Senate next year.
First time in our history. Pero ang problema rin kasi, kahit dominant ang mga dynasties, meron din kasing exasperation level.
Yes. That's what we're talking about.
Meron kang
Vilma siya na naman.
Na lahat ay papatakbuhin.
No?
Meron kang mga sa Masbate na lahat ng district ang kongresista ay anak. So, so meron kang Senado na halos kalahati ay magkakamag-anak.
Tama.
So, meron ding point na, teka, sobra na to. Sobra na to. Kaya yun yung point na either may exasperate yung tao o itutulak mo sila to be exasperated. Or a combination of both. And then, you can craft an alternative based on that. No? So, mga taong katulad natin have to help craft that narrative. Learn from the past, hope for the future, and then consolidate the present. For lack of a better term, 1 step backward, 2 steps forward.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah. At siguro yun yung medyo positive element ng mga forces like us. Meron tayong ability para sa circumspection na wala itong mga dynasties na ito. Dahil sobrang taas ng kanilang level of entitlement, sobrang taas ng kanilang hubris, they cannot be circumspect. Tayo, dahil ang dami nating glorious defeats, we can be circumspect. At yun yung isang positive element ng ating kasalukuyan. We can learn from that. We are open to learning. No? And hopefully, we still have enough energy.
The only kind of like positive, well, hindi naman the only, pero one of the biggest positive things na naisip ko dyan with the last presidential election is I think hindi na nila pwedeng ituloy yung narrative na matagal nang nasa posisyon yung ganitong klaseng tao and everything. Mag-iba na tayo. Now, the people who are in power now, kumbaga yung mga pro-admin, they're the ones that are looking like na parang they're holding on to power. Especially na inaway nila yung nag-away sila, yung magkakapartido. So, I think sana, well, hopefully people think na how parang they want to, stay on with this power for a long time, no?
Actually, ang problema nila, they're not even effective or compelling in defending their dynasties. Ang pinaka lame excuse na nila, wala namang batas no? So habang walang batas, no, tatakbo kami. Yun na yung pinaka mataas na level ng kanilang defense sa kanilang pagiging dynasty. Ibig sabihin, wala silang effort na aminin man lang na, uy, maganda ang dynasties. Uy, nakakatulong ito sa tao. No?
Hindi man lang binigay yung pro list.
Di ba? So, ang kanilang pinaka-excuse na ay wala kasing batas. No? So,
pwede.
Madaling durugin yun. Madaling durugin yun. No? Pero we need alternative leaders who can be disruptive. Hindi pwede rito ang slow burn. It has to be quick burn.
Oh, really?
Diba? It has to be quick burn. No, you have 3.5 years. No? hopefully you can shape the narrative in 2 years.
Yes.
And then prepare.
And sustain it, di ba? Meron pang ganun. No?
Yes. And then go to war.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a war.
Yeah.
No? This is a war for the future of our children and our children's children. No? Kailangan mai-pose ito na ganun. This is an existential battle.
Yes.
Dito sa ating role within the region. Na inaatake tayo ng second biggest economy in the world, the second most powerful military in the world, no? And we cannot expect support no, from the world without getting our act together.
Tama.
So lahat ito nangyayari, itong weaknesses ng ating political economic system while we are practically being invaded.
Yes. Oo nga, no? We forget about that.
Yes.
Sometimes yung distractions of all of these like blue ribbon committees and nakakalimutan mo na they literally occupy our seats now.
Yes. And our politicians.
Yes. Tama. Na-agree lang ako dun. It's such a it's such a passing fact na lang ngayon. We're not even surprised anymore or whatever. Do you think all of these like I don't want to say manhunt, no, but more of like all of these justices that are being served. Do you think it will have a positive effect or will supporters just be spurned more and ano mo yun?
Well, yung appearance ni Digong sa Senate was basically meant to harness or to rally the troops.
Oo nga eh.
And to some extent, he was successful.
Yes.
Dahil yung troops niya ay paubos na. Yung kanyang surveys ay pabulusok pababa. No? Yung mga kaunting natitira sa kanila na political leaders ay nasuspend pa or permanently disqualified. So, this is an existential battle for them.
Yes.
So, nag-scale up si Digong at inassure siya ng kanyang alay sa Senate, hawak natin ito. Hawak natin ang hearing. At yun nga nangyari.
Yeah.
Pero, I doubt kung beyond their own troops, no? Beyond their own fanatics, ay makaka-reach out pa sila doon sa mga nawala na sa kanila.
Tama.
Yung mga nawala na sa kanila, hindi na yung babalik. Pero, nagkaroon sila ng breath of life.
Yeah.
No? To say the least. No?
They seem very, parang everybody rallied towards
at
that.
At least yung kanila na. No? Ikalawa, na-reprise nila yung kanilang political narrative noong 2016.
Yes.
Kaya nakita mo yung Senate na template ni Robin Hood Padilla.
Yeah.
Ginawa ni Bongo na nasa Committee on Silence for a long time. Biglang nagkaroon ng boses in that hearing. Yun yung Senate nila sa pagpasok ni Digong. That template. Ang problema, Digong being Digong, no, ay hindi niya maiwasang maging Duterte. Maging Digong. At nakita mo yung hubris and entitlement in full display.
Oh my God.
Hindi maiwasan, di ba? Under oath. No,
I guess na-open yung floodgates and then just, alam mo yun?
And not because of the chair of the committee.
Yeah.
No? More dahil yung lone opposition ang nag-provoke sa kanila. Dahil yung chair kasi, ang paliwanag pa. Tingnan mo, dahil sa aking pag-facilitate, umamin, no? Si Digong.
Wow.
As in. No? So, yun yung nangyayari. No? In spite of everything, na-provoke si Digong, because of the lone opposition and because of the personality of the main cast. Si Digong himself. Kaya yun ang nangyari. Pero kung hindi sila mag-iingat, no, ay ito kasi si Digong may method yung kanyang madness.
Yeah, feeling ko nga parang sadya.
Yung kanyang anak, walang method madness lang. No? Kaya tingin ko kung hindi sila mag-iingat at i-underestimate nila ito, baka makaporma pa ito.
Totoo.
Kaya dapat dalhin nila sa logical conclusion.
Yeah.
Wag lang nila hintayin yung ICC.
Yes.
Kasuhan na nila.
Ba't nga ba wala pa? Ba't ayaw?
Well, partly siguro dahil conflict aversion presidente, passive-aggressive, but others have to do it for him. No? If not the first lady.
It doesn't have to be them, di ba? It doesn't have to be,
Yeah, the Secretary of Justice has to do it. No? So, dapat gawin na nila dahil nakasandal na sa pader yung mga Duterte. No? At ngayon, hanggang sa midterm, very powerful yung incumbent.
Yeah.
After ng midterms, magbabago ang landscape. Dahil ang titignan ng mga politiko na very cynical ay yung 2028. Sino ba ang leading? Sino ba ang number 2? Doon sila mag-shift ng loyalties again. Between now, itong next 6 months, ay very crucial to go for the jugular.
Yes.
If they don't, they do at their own risk. Because the Dutertes will come back with a vengeance.
But di naman dapat talaga. I mean, they're attacking in so many fronts. I am assuming they are setting up for the laser sword na sa dulo. No? Talagang finishing move na dapat because they're sinilip na yung Pogo, kay OJC, ito pati yung EJK, di ba? So, are they just waiting for the ICC or?
Sana you're not assuming too much. Dahil nowadays kasi
I thought that was the plan.
Oo.
What was it all for then?
Nowadays kasi idiots are coming out of the woodwork.
Oh my God.
Sana merong ganun nag-iisip sa gobyerno. Halimbawa, itong hearing na ito, usually ang gagawin dyan ng Malacanang ay ipapatawag yung leadership ng Senate, papaabot sa leadership ng Senate.
Okay.
Ito yung gusto kong mangyari. No? Kahit kayo ay independent, baka naman pwede nyo i-consider na haharap sa inyo yung aking main enemy. No? Huwag naman kayo magmukhang supportive sa aking kaaway. No? So, dapat may ganong klaseng process.
Okay.
Hindi nangyari yun.
Okay.
So, ibig sabihin, there's a huge political vacuum sa Malacanang na walang pumupuno. The position of political affairs advisor is still vacant. At wala akong nakikitang strategies or advisors na nag-i-scale up, no? For a ruling party, for a ruling coalition. So, at nakita ko yan sa Senate hearing in full display.
Yeah.
Iba yung quad sa Congress. Doon parang may kumukumpas eh.
Oo nga.
Sa Senate, parang wala. Kaya, Duterte was able to invade the Senate, sabi nga ni Senator Ping Lacson, and dominate the narrative. Kung wala pa dun si Risa, ay iba pa, mas lalo pang iba yun.
To the point na nasa kamay na niya yung crowd eh. Like as a stand-up comedian, alam ko yung feeling na yun eh. Yung talagang tumatawa na sila kahit anong sabihin ko eh. I'm talking about murder and genocide and then people are laughing. Kaya doon si Risa to say na, hindi nakakatawa to ah.
Bawal ka magmura dito. Ayaw namin ng bastos at saka walang hiya.
Exactly.
At huwag mo kaming hatakin sa impyerno. Actually, dati nga eh, nag-hesitate ka ako kung saan ko gustong pumunta eh. Impyerno o langit. No? Dahil sa langit kasi walang cigar.
Wala. Baka walang bisyo.
Walang Mobile Legends.
Wala.
Walang no? So, kaya mas ang inclination ko sana, impyerno. Pero nung
kasama mo naman yun.
Sinabi ni Digong tsaka ni Sara ay gusto nila maging presidente ang impyerno, nagbago na yung akin na papunta na ako sa medyo mag-a-aspire na. Kung magpapakatino na ako. No? Rather than makasama ko yung mga lunatics na yan, tsaka mga psychopaths sa impyerno. Tingin ko kahit si Satanas mag-retire. No? Pag sila yung mga papalit.
Devil's advocate lang. Do you think all of these things...
Sakto, devil's advocate.
Pun intended. Do you think all of these things that they're doing to go against whatever happened sa mga ginawa nila ng Duterte administration, do you think this is just for show or parang ano siya, is it just a way to show who's boss, ganun bang klase, or do you think they're really gonna do something really evident, or parang they're gonna put someone in jail or something like that?
Tingin ko all of the above, no? All of the above, no? If they get their act together, kung malinaw sa kanila what's at stake. This is an existential battle for the Duterte and the Marcoses. Dahil kung hindi gagawin ng Marcoses yung dapat nilang gawin, go for the jugular.
Yes.
Delikado sila after the midterms. At the same time, kung hindi gagawin ng mga Duterte, yung sinabi nila noong January 28 rally sa Davao, no? Insurrection, mutiny, coup d'etat, secession, even a hint of assassination. Kung hindi nila gagawin yan, they're dead in the water. So, yan yung labanan nila. Hindi lang to existential battle for the Dutertes. This is an existential battle even from the Marcoses. Kaya, yun na yung unity. No? Hindi lang siya open warfare. It's an existential situation for both of them. No? At sana, in a different multiverse, dapat ang makikinabang dito ay yung mga pink.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
In a different universe.
Let them fight, di ba? Parang gano'n. Parang hindi eh.
Nawala. So,
let's see. Well, our producer, pinaka-executive producer and friend, si PP, Patik Paes, kind of set up the next segment for our show, no? So in which we will show you pictures of personalities and comment on the reactions, starting with Mr. Topacio over here. Anong masasabi natin sa kanya?
The best lawyer ever.
So loyal.
Yeah. So buti pa hawak na karaoke mic imbis na tunay na mic.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Ito ang sinasabi ko, looks like a villain, sounds like a villain talaga eh. No? Si Salvador Panelo.
The epitome of psychopathy.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard many adjectives. Epitome of psychopathy is very good. Okay, let's go through the next one. Ayan, ang favorite ng lahat.
Yes.
Oo. To the point na naaawa na nga ako eh.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Pag ako naging presidente, siya kukunin kong spokesperson. Dahil wala siyang prinsipyo, siya ay napakasinungaling.
Yes.
The best spokesperson ever.
I have a stand-up bit that went viral na ang tawag sa kanya, he's the head of the Department of Spin. Ang galing niya mag-spin. Sobrang galing talaga.
Kaya nga, magaling na magsinungaling. Kaya the best spokesperson. Yun ang trabaho ng spokesperson. Magsinungaling para sa principal.
Tama.
No?
Tama.
Ex-human rights lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Totoo. Ex-human rights lawyer indeed. Okay. Next one.
Yeah.
Ayan, para maayos naman. Okay.
The epitome of decency in the Senate.
Parang the only one, no?
The only one. Dati, kasama niya si Coco Pimentel, pero naiwan na sa dustbin ng history si Coco. No?
The only opposition.
Baka minumulto na ng tatay.
Yes, okay. Sige, well, those are just the 4 pictures that we want to say. Something fun that we like to do here in Medyo Serious Talk Show.
Buti na lang, nakasagot ako na maayos.
Nakakatawa siya. Pero maganda rin pag-usapan yung pinakahuling slide, no? Because she's still gonna be a senator until the next presidential election unless na, something terrible happens, which we don't want to happen. There are more, syempre, we're ear to the ground. Viber groups are messaging and talking. Get-together sa mga pamilya, pagkatapos kumain, nag-uusap-usap. Ang tawag namin sa pro wrestling term is nagwa-fantasy booking. Parang iniisip ko sinong pwedeng ilagay, Do you think Risa Hontiveros presidential run would be something na possible and viable?
Yes.
Okay.
And very defining for our country.
Yes.
Dahil nga, sabi ko, we don't have the luxury of time.
Yes.
Cambodia will be ahead of us in 2 to 3 years.
Oh my God.
Kaya, kailangan yung katulad ni Risa.
Yeah.
No? Pero, mayaman na siya sa substance.
Yeah.
Mayaman na siya sa decency.
Yes.
Ang kailangan ay tulungan ng mga taong katulad nyo to develop a brand.
Yes.
A compelling brand.
Totoo.
Because people don't vote, unfortunately, based on platform. Based on principles, based on vision.
Based on credentials, track record.
Yes. They vote on a brand.
Yeah.
And usually, the compelling brand is a street fighter. No?
Tama.
Street fighter. So, yung generation nyo, ang kailangan tumulong dyan. Yung aming generation, laos na eh. No? Kami na lang ang mga suicide bombers. No? Itapat nyo kami sa mga kalaban. At yayakapin namin sila habang pinapasabog nga yung mga sarili.
Well, sir, I could talk hours and hours and you did not disappoint. Thank you so much for guessing, sir.
My pleasure. I enjoyed this.
The Medyo Serious Talk Show is on at 1 News every Tuesday. Kung wala kayong TV, it's on at YouTube. Please check out all of the things that Mr. Llamas has done. It's very refreshing for me to check out your content din, sir. I'm a fan, as well as my dad din, na actually yung dad ko yung nagsabi sa akin na panoorin kita. Ganon. So, yeah, thank you so much. That was very, I wish we had
willing ba yung
3
dad
more
mo
hours.
maging suicide bomber like this?
Every dinner, yan ang plano nila ng nanay ko. Thank you, sir.
Salamat, Ted.